Hi, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Brian, and this is Quest for Faith. And today I'm going to be talking about a topic that I've come across a bunch in my comments, and I've seen on other videos, and this was something I had to wrestle with. It's why should I join the Catholic Church when the history of the Catholic Church is so bad? And people always use that. You'll know them by their fruits. That's the quote, right? That typically you get quoted. So I'm going to kind of dive into that topic and take a look at that reasoning for not joining the Catholic Church. So before I get started, please like, share, and subscribe, and let's get into it. So I want to start off by telling a story. There's this family that is blessed by God, and this family is going to be great. And when you hear the story about this family, there is nothing but brokenness in this family. It's a horrible family. There's instances of sons sleeping with their father's wives. There is other incest. There is murder. There is thieving. There's bribery, there's kidnapping. This family is just a mess. I mean, there's even an instance where one of the sisters gets raped, and all her brothers go and slaughter an entire town. Man, woman, child, beast, everything. It sounds horrible. And you look at that and you're like, why would I ever want to be part of, how is this family blessed by God? This is just absolutely ridiculous. And then we find out further generations later in this family, there's a man that is leader of the people now, and he finds this woman that he thinks is hot. And he devises a plan to get her husband killed so he can marry her. And it happens. And again, you're like, what is going on? This is horrible. These people are really bad. But who am I talking about? Of course I'm talking about the Bible. I'm talking about Isaac and Jacob, and the story of Joseph, and the last one there is David. The Bible is riddled with people that are absolutely broken, not great people. Even Abraham passes Sarah off as his sister twice and lets some other king marry her. Like, it's disgusting. But these are the chosen people of God. And I mean, you could pull this forward throughout history. We could talk about being an American, right? That we had slavery in this country longer than any other Western civilization. We fought a war and thousands of people died. It's unbelievable when you look at these horrible things. And to me, it ultimately comes down to this one question, right? And I think what we see in the church, in the Catholic Church, and what we see in history, what we see in the Bible, is we see people. We see the brokenness of people, the human condition. Were there horrible things that happened in the church in the past? Absolutely. But there's horrible things that happen in non-denominational churches now. There's horrible things that happen that in the name of God for Christianity now. It's not a Christ thing. It's a human thing. And we see this throughout everything. So if we use that rule of measurement of, well, these bad things happen, so I can't be part of that. Yeah, I get you but really? If you're gonna use that with your faith, you got to use it everywhere, which means you can't even be part of the human race. I know I'm going on the extreme with that statement, but it's the truth. This is part of our human condition. This is the brokenness we experience. And furthermore, why be a Christian? Look at the brokenness in the apostles at the beginning, right? You had Peter denying Christ 3 times. You had Judas selling him for 30 gold pieces. That's at the start of the game. That's in the beginning. And then you also have the story of this other man who doesn't like these people that are preaching this new Jesus is the Messiah, and just starts rounding up Christians wholesale and slaughtering them. And who does he end up being? What does God use him for? The Apostle Paul. I mean, the story of Christianity is the story of how Jesus uses and God uses our brokenness for greatness. And so when I hear people talk about, well, I can't get on board with the Catholic Church because of their history and the bad things they've done, I first think to myself, okay. So if you believe Jesus, that he put Peter as the head of the church, and that Hades won't conquer it. If you believe that in John 6, that Jesus is not speaking metaphorically, he's speaking literally, that the Eucharist communion is the body and blood of Christ. You read through scripture and all of these main Catholic talking points come just flooding out of the pages at you. And you're like, yeah, I believe that stuff. But these people, there's just really bad people in that church. There's bad people everywhere. And my question to you is, why are you going to let someone else's sin have an effect on your salvation? How are you going to let somebody else's brokenness limit your ability to worship God? And I know some of you that'll watch this video are saying that it doesn't matter what church I belong to. It doesn't matter my personal relationship with Jesus Christ. That's great. We all should have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. But what we gain in the Catholic Church is the fullness of Christ and his teachings. That's what we get. And everybody's complaining that you hear people, well, there's all these man-made medieval traditions. Read the early church fathers. Read John Martyr in 145 AD, talking about the Mass and talking about communion. Read First Clement. Read Ignatius of Antioch. Read these early church fathers and see if it lines up with the church you're going to today. And what I simply found is it doesn't. And yeah, is there broken people throughout the history of the Catholic Church? Is there brokenness in the Catholic Church today? 100% absolutely. There is. Right? There wouldn't be books like, where is it? Do I have it in here? No. There wouldn't be books like Infiltration by Dr. Taylor Marshall. There wouldn't be books like A Church in Crisis. Martin, what is his name? Can't remember his name, but I'm reading that book right now. There's brokenness in the church. But to reject God's church because of other people's brokenness is just a backwards idea. Instead, we should be staying and fighting for this. We should be staying and holding true to the teachings of the church, which we get from Jesus Christ and the apostles, and not rejecting it because of other people's brokenness. So that's my quick statement on that. Obviously, you can really dive into this and break this down, but simply put, if you're claiming that, then you agree with everything else with the Catholic Church, you're quite literally letting someone else's sin and brokenness affect your salvation. That's what you're doing. So think about that and pray about it and see if that's really what's going on. Are you going to let someone else's sin and brokenness affect you? Just pray that you don't, and really look into it. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. Y'all have a great day. Talk to you later.